discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and Brad and I are continuing our top 100 games of all time. This segment is 20 through 11. So, this is where it just gets...
The cream has risen.
The cream, ew. This one gets crazy. Well, maybe not as crazy. I have 2 new games.
I have 4.
But a lot of movement.
Mm-hmm.
Like this... a lot of surprising stuff. I'm just like drooling everywhere. Apparently, I'm just so excited to talk about these 20 games. Yeah, because like I love all these games, but man, once it gets to these, they're just...
Yeah, well, I will tell you, I have 4 brand new games to this list. And that's 10. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of the games on this list were in my top 10.
Oh, so they fell.
Yes.
Okay. I have 2 new games. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 fell. 1, 2, 3, and 4 rows.
Mm.
So it's crazy, but I don't have the numbers here. They are on my index cards. So let's jump on anyway at number 20, which actually rose from 25. So it rose 5 spaces. I don't know. I don't think you've ever played this. One of my favorite co-op games, Kat absolutely hates it, and it's Robinson Crusoe.
Mm-mm.
You've never played it?
No, I've owned it 3 times. I've never played it though.
Swallow more, because I'm just like... Robinson Crusoe is a fantastic cooperative game, and I think they're about to release another expansion.
I think so.
World of Z or something like that. I don't know anything about it, but this is one of those games where you are trying to survive on an island. Depending on your scenario, I'll use the first one as an example, where you need to gather firewood. You have your discs, which represent you. You have 2 of them, and these are kind of where you can place them. So, thematically, it's you doing things around the island, and you can either go with both your discs to one action, like exploring, which guarantees you will succeed. Or you can spread out and do a little bit of everything, and everyone's doing this. And it's like, okay, well, if I just put 1 here, then you have to roll these dice to see whether or not you succeed, or have an event happen, because you're kind of like not putting forth a lot of effort into it. And what I like about this is, like with the die rolling, 1, it's survival, so you have to find shelter, you have to build up your ramparts, and you have to, constantly deal with weather, food spoilage, so you constantly, and if you don't eat, then you take damage. If you don't build up your defenses, then animals can attack, and then if you don't attack, then you just get damaged. Very brutal game. Like I'm pretty sure, like it's so hard. I've won games before, but I've definitely lost my fair share.
I know that Vassal, as I said, he's only beat it once.
I think he only beat it with the designer. I think he's only ever beat it by playing with them.
Ignacy, isn't it? I think it was.
Is it Ignacy?
Yeah, because Portal had it first.
Who has it now?
Because that's why the first Martians is...
Oh, you're right.
You're right,
because it was supposed to be a Robinson Crusoe in space, and it wasn't. But what I really like about this is, like, the adventures that you have, or the cards that you draw, there's a top thing where it's like, okay, well, it's top and bottom, I never look at the bottom, just because thematically you don't know what's going to happen. Right. But you can look at it and be like, oh, hey, we found a bunch of fur in this cave, do we take it? And if you take it, great, like awesome, but then you'll take that card and you'll put it into the event deck. So whatever you do on these adventures will come back eventually. And so you'll shuffle it, and then you'll eventually, it could show up later, or it could not. And I just love that. I love that risk mechanic in this game, because it's like, or if you find food, you're like, oh crap, we really need this food. But then that food could attract a bear to your camp, and then you're like, oh god. So you can build these gadgets, which will help tremendously. There's just a lot going on, and I really love that survival aspect to this game. I need to buy the remake, the second edition that they did, because it kind of cleaned it up a little bit. Because unfortunately, the rulebook is pretty bad in the edition that I have. They made an expansion, Voyage of the Beagle, which was a campaign where you were helping Charles Darwin gather animals and plants and all this stuff, which help him with his research. That's a phenomenal expansion as well. There's a bunch of fan-made scenarios, like one of them is Kong, like Skull Island, which is really cool. So just a bunch of scenarios here, a bunch of stuff that just makes this game super thematic. Kat hates it. She hates Robinson Crusoe. I think it's because she was forced to read it in like elementary school.
Yeah.
But I love it, so that's my 20 Robinson Crusoe. This has actually been around for a while.
Yeah,
it's hovered.
Several versions of it too.
But I meant like it's been like in my top 10 multiple times. Yes. It's just hovered around this area. In fact, it was 25 last year and it rose.
Right.
So I'm just like, I think I was like, man, I have really no qualms with this game except the rulebook is shit. Yes. So it's so good.
All right. Well, my number 20 was actually 37 last year. It jumped up 17 into my top 20. And I think, I don't know if you own it. I don't even know if you played it. Voyages of Marco Polo.
That was I have played it. You were looking over there for my game.
Yeah, I was like, I'm looking to see what.
You can go and talk about. Oh, it was my 104.
Okay,
it was close.
Voyages of Marco Polo. Again, like I said in my previous top 10, dice placement games are another cool thing that I enjoy. So, with Kingsburg and stuff like that, this one does the same thing, but gives you a lot more stuff you can do with your dice. Mm-hmm. You're using your dice to gather resources. You're using your dice to you're going to spin them here to move that distance.
Oh yeah.
There's.
I've only played this game once.
Yeah, it's something. There's so much stuff. Like you always feel like there's something you can do in this game. That's what I like about it. You also start the game with a character, a special power, that are just ridiculous.
These powers are they're borderline broken, but every
one of them is broken. That's the thing. Like every one of them can be, somebody could think, well, that's broken power. That's how they get away with it. It's just they're all just mega power.
Tom Vassell, and I agree with this statement, is if you feel like someone else's power is broken or you want someone else's power and everyone's feeling that way, that's how you know it's balanced.
Right.
Versus everyone's like, I want that one because it's obviously imbalanced.
I have not played with the expansion yet because it's hard to find the expansion for right now. It just adds some more characters, adds some more. I think it adds another little board for spots to go. But pretty much, you're traveling around. You are buying stuff. You're landing on cities and stuff. But your end game is like you want to try to get to Beijing by the end of the game.
Yeah.
End of the game. And I mean, there isn't much more. I mean, you're dropping camels. You're getting.
There was. Like I said, I've only played it once, but I remember because this theme is kind of lame as hell. So it's really hard to describe to people. I just remember that the powers were super broken, which made the game a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. It's almost a point salad game too, because you rack up a bunch of points.
You're collecting stuff. You're collecting resources, crazy. The thing I like about it is that it only lasts 5 rounds.
Yep.
So it's not like it doesn't overstay its welcome. You're playing. Each round takes a little bit of time. I mean, I'm not saying it's like a super fast game, but but it's not like you're not.
Because you'll eventually get more dice throughout the game
and stuff, and it's. So if you like, I would call games like Kingsburg dice placement gateway-ish. This would be dice placement gamer.
Yeah.
Because you have, all these abilities, and there's so much stuff you can do, and it's pretty. I think it's a really pretty board and layout and everything. The cover is kind of weird too.
Right.
But give it a shot for sure, because it was out of print for a long time. It came back in print a year and a half ago, something like that.
That's when I snagged it.
Yeah, and it's definitely worth the shot.
Okay.
Great game.
My number 19 fell from number 10. So it fell out of my top 10, so 9 spaces. Once again, at this point, this was whenever I was more shocked, just because I don't. Whenever I make, actually, the way I did my index cards is last time I like had them all laid out, and this time I was like, well, this is kind of a pain, so I just kind of kept them in a stack and just kind of rifled through it. I'm like, okay, here we go. So my number 19 is War of the Ring. He just sent me that anniversary thing for $1,600. God, completely unnecessary. Just paint your minis yourself.
No, it's not just the painted minis. It's all the cool stuff in it.
Now for $1,600. War of the Ring is, a lot of people say Star Wars Rebellion is Star Wars in a box. War of the Ring is Lord of the Rings in a box. And only for 2 players. There's 2 expansions for it that add, one of them adds like the Lords of Middle-earth, so like the heroes get Elrond and Galadriel and all these people. And then in Warriors of Middle-earth, like the heroes get, it's like the factions that like so the heroes get the eagles and they get the ghosts. Can't remember the ghosts of Gondor, I guess. I can't remember what their actual name was. And they get another one. Oh, the Ents. And then the shadow person gets the spiders. They get the, oh man, I'm totally drawing a blank. The pirates that were in 3, and then no, the Nazgul are already in it. They're kind of the shadow people leaders. And they get a third one. And I'm totally drawing a blank on who all they get. But
is that army that has the elephants?
No, that's already a faction in there.
Gotcha.
That's what I was thinking of. But this game is so fantastic, and especially if you love Lord of the Rings, because it's just this epic, like kind of like what if scenario, because you can have like, okay, well, what if the Ents did help out in like the actual battle, or what if you did take the Ghost Army all the way to Mordor, or what if actually Frodo gets completely corrupted, then the Free People lose. But you kind of have a little hidden element with the Free Peoples, because you not only do you have your army, you have the party that started out in Rivendell, and they move their hidden movement, and then you can spend its dice allocation. So like you roll your dice, and those are your actions that you get, and you can attribute some of those dice to try and find Frodo, and if you find him, then you can start corrupting him. And then to get people, and this is what a lot of people hate about War of the Ring, what I love about it is the politics track. The Free People start out with, like, I think just Gondor is the only one ready, so they're the ones that can fight. Everyone else is passive, which is thematic, because no one wants to go to war, so you have to try and rally the different factions. Like, to get the dwarves into battle, you need to actually go and you can have the Free Peoples go and talk to them, or you can break off and have Gimli go and talk to them, and he can ready them and then move them down to at war. Or you can have Legolas go, and they all have special abilities that, oh, if Gimli's here, then this will happen. If Legolas is here, then this will happen. So you can just thematically tie all this together for one epic Lord of the Rings game. The Free Peoples have to get to 4 victory points of winning, while the Shadow Army needs to get to 10. That's one way that both sides can win. The other way that the Shadow People person can win is if they fully corrupt the Frodo, and or the Free People if they can secretly get to Mount Doom and get to the top without being completely corrupted, they'll drop the ring and they win. It's such a good game. Actually, is it my highest 2-player game? I think it is. It is my highest 2-player game. Strictly 2 players. I mean, obviously these all can be played as 2. But I absolutely love it. It just like, oh, the Shadow person gets the Balrog in one of the in the Lords of Middle-earth expansion. Gotcha. So it just adds all this what if. What if the Balrog helped in the war instead of just being in the mines? And there's card play in it as well that have a top, there's a combat section and an out of combat section that you can use
So tarot-sized cards too.
They are, yeah. That are all thematically tied in. It's just, it's phenomenal. The Shadow People have an unlimited amount of resources,
Right.
whereas the more Free People's people die, they're actually out of the game. Battle of Five Armies, I think, is mediocre at best. I do not like it at all. But War of the Ring, the other cool thing about War of the Ring is its Hunt for the Ring, which is on my list way back, is how that plays out. There's actually a section to tie that into the beginning of War of the Ring, which I think is really cool. So you could have a Lord of the Rings day where you play Hunt for the Ring and then immediately play War of the Ring, and just have the whole thing, the whole trilogy, all in one. So yeah, that's War of the Ring, my number 19.
All right, my number 19 was actually number 6.
Ooh, that fell
year.
more.
Yeah, and it's fell because I have not played it a whole lot.
Gotcha.
I foresee it's going to be a top 20 game probably forever, and so it could rise, fall.
Yeah.
I haven't played the newest expansion yet. Imperial Settlers.
Oh, okay.
It's
I've not played the expansion either.
Yeah, it's Imperial Settlers is a wonderful game. I'll always own it. It'll like I said, it'll probably always be my top 20 depending on what's happening. I love playing it solo. But then also, it's just one of those games. It just looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
They went into the graphical design of it so much that when you have your little board and you're placing your parts of your civilization out, everything connects and looks fluid, and it's just they've got so many factions out for it now, and you can mess with other people on the. It's not horrible.
No, you can only attack their common areas.
And when you take it out, they gain a thing of wood, and then it just becomes a rubble or whatever, or whatever. It's one of those games that's pretty simplistic, but yet not.
Man,
And a lot of it, and it also depends on what faction you use, because there's some factions that are very difficult to try to do stuff with. Like I haven't tried the Aztecs yet.
They're weird.
I've
tried them.
I own it, haven't tried it. I haven't tried the
Amazons.
Amazon.
I haven't tried them either.
I don't own the Amazons yet.
The Atlanteans are really cool.
Yeah.
I
personally
like
the Japanese.
The Egyptians are busted.
Yeah.
I feel like they have a deck building aspect to this game where you can deck build your fraction. I don't. I just have.
I have the cards, but I haven't. I only tried that when I play solo.
Gotcha.
A little bit because just to try to better my
right,
score.
right.
It's a score based deal.
The I don't know. Like civilization building games are always difficult because I don't like when you can just attack everything that someone has and just completely. It's like, okay, well, I'm done.
Right.
But you can only attack their commons, which their commons are probably helping because that's their probably resource generating side because your factions are a lot of your cool abilities, but it's like, oh, okay, and it's kind of hard to attack someone, unless you have ways of generating more swords. You always only ever have one.
Yeah, and the thing is with it also is you could when you're playing a card. There's always something you can do. Either you're gonna play it down, or you can use it as a deal.
Yeah, you can do a deal.
Which that's an aspect of this game that new players don't understand.
Yeah.
I think a lot of time is how important making deals are.
Yeah.
You just on the bottom, you turn your card upside down, you slide it on your deal. Those are things every turn when you gather your resources for that turn, you get all that stuff.
Yep.
You're giving up a card, but you're doing that, and whenever you get to draw cards, you get to choose if it's out of your specific pile or out of the
common
pile.
Yep.
The common. There's a drafting phase.
Out
of the common and at the beginning of every round. It's been one of those games that has always been in my top ever since I've had it, just because it's just a well done game, and I also like the post-apocalyptic version of it.
Totally drawing the blank on what that one's
Master
called.
Set.
It is. Man, I never played it.
Just went totally blank.
Yeah.
Uh,
You'll remember it.
yeah, I will here in a little bit, and I'll just blurt it out.
Yeah.
but it's the same company. It's just a post-apocalyptic setup for it, but I like this better. The art is more inviting in this one, so like my family likes to play it, and they make the art kind of cutesy. And the funniest thing about these games,
is it area something? Is it? I'm still trying to think of what it's called.
What I like about these games is like if you look at the insert or just hidden around on different things, there's little funny things hidden all over the place.
Who's the company? Portal.
Yeah. I keep seeing like New Era, and I keep seeing all these the old version of it, but I can't think of the stupid name of the game. It was in my top. I probably just scroll here, but anyway, it's just one of the 51st State.
51st State. Okay.
Yes.
I was like, it's on here somewhere.
It's in my top 50, guys. I saw it. But they're virtually the same game. It's just one's got darker, dirtier art, and this one's more light and stuff. But it's just going to always be one that's good. I mean, you had it on your list. You know, it's a solid game. Probably one of my favorite. Probably is my favorite Portal game, I believe.
It's a good one. It's like
we'll see if because you've already said detective. So
have I?
I think so.
Have I?
I think because
I think
Chronicles were pretty close together. I think.
Oh, they were. Yeah, Detective was 48.
Yeah.
Chronicles was 50. Yeah. And where is it?
And Robinson Crusoe was Portal.
There's Imperial Settlers is 44.
Yeah. So I mean, just good stuff, and they can just keep. Oh, they're getting ready to come out with a roll and write version of it.
That's what it was. I was like, there's something new coming out.
They're getting ready to come out with a standalone game that's going to be.
It's new factions, isn't it?
Well, it's not gonna interact with this game at all. It's just a standalone game and it's realistic.
Okay.
Deal, but apparently it's supposed to be like super basic. It's gonna be like very entry level.
Really. Yeah, they have like a whole 2019
box
thing
that they're gonna come out with, which I can't wrap my mind around if it's gonna be worth getting the huge box because everything in mine fits in my box right now.
I have the
so I don't know
wooden insert.
Yeah, see, I don't even have the wooden insert in it. Everything fits perfectly. I don't know why I would need a huge box, but
I don't know
when more details come out. But they're still supporting it. They come out with about once a year. They come out with a new race. So we'll see what they continue doing.
Okay, my number 18 fell from number 6, so it fell 12 spaces, and I don't know why. I guarantee you, at this point, all of these are going to be because awesome games came out, not due to lack of play. Because this game is super easy to play. It's almost one of my go-tos whenever, I almost bring it down with me every time I go down to, whenever I go to hang out with friends, it's just there. Smash Up is my number 18. Smash Up is another game that's constantly being supported. They're about to release another expansion.
It's the World Tour, isn't it?
I'll look it up.
I think it's called World Tour or something.
It's
because it's like a sumo and.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, I think it's called World Tour.
But they just keep.
Yeah.
They just keep releasing. In Smash Up, you have. Hold on, I have to. You take two factions and you shuffle their cards together, and then you play them, and you're trying to control these areas, these different zones that also have special abilities about them, and they have a breakpoint number that everyone is trying to bust, and then once you break it, whoever has the highest influence there will get the number 1 spot, which are points, and you play to 15. Play 15 points, and then the game goes by relatively quick. 15 points jumps up, and you're like, oh my god. And
on your turn you play one action,
You play one action, one minion.
Unless
obviously, it's card based, so all that's subject to change. But you have what makes this game unique. International Incident is what it's called.
Oh really? There's a World Tour one that was in there last. Maybe that's another one.
Smash Up World Tour International Incident is what World Tour Incident.
Okay, so that's the same thing.
Yep, it looks like it adds Luchadors, Mounties from Canada, Sumos, and Musketeers are who it adds. So each faction has their own unique thing about them. At this point, there are some that start to they're pretty close in what they do, but are still unique in their own way. But so your combinations or there's a bajillion combinations you can make, and every single time I have an app that generates it for me. I don't like the draft. Whenever we went to Gen Con, we did a tournament, and it was draft, and man, I was surprised that no one picked it because it's round robin. So you go here, then you go around, and then you start at the end.
Like a snake draft.
Yeah, snake draft. So I was at the end, and no one took wizards or tricksters. So I was like, well, I'm gonna be a dick and take both of those. I didn't win because there's definitely the reason why I don't like draft is because if I'm an advanced player, then I know probably which ones to grab. But in wizards and tricksters, just do not hold a lot of power in trying to break, so you don't. But man, are they annoying! Because wizards are all about constantly drawing cards and keep actions, and tricksters are like, affecting the cards, the areas to where no one wants to go there. And I got second, so I was happy about that. But it was just the sheer amount of combinations in this game. I've gotten the Munchkin Elves. The Munchkin expansion, by the way, sucks. Don't get it. But at that point, I still had it in my set. I had Munchkin Elves and Sharks. And I was like, this is gonna suck. And it didn't. It was actually really good. Like, you can get giant ants and dragons. You can get fucking Transformers and...
Disco Transformers.
Yeah, you can get disco, you can get pirates and zombies. Oh, which would be...
Zombies are my absolute favorite.
Zombies are busted.
Love the zombies.
Yeah, they're really good. But like, I don't think there's any... Because a lot of people from the course hate the ninjas. And I'm like, why? They're so sneaky. Like, they're so fun. Because it's just like, okay, this is going to bust. Yeah, actually, I'm going to play these ninjas that kill all your guys, and then I take it over. Because once it breaks, there's nothing you can do. It's breaking.
Well, in all the ninja themed areas are score weird. Like, the middle, second place actually gets more points than first place.
The aliens are all about, like, terraforming, like, the area, so they just pop out, like, freaking the terrain. There's just so many combinations. I fell from 6.
Well, and AEG's who does this game, and...
the bigger, geekier box.
What I love...
Thank
Yes.
you for that.
Yes, for sure. What I love about this company and how they approach this game... I can't remember what the name of the expansion was. It was the one that had the sharks and stuff. How every box has 4 factions. And the shark one, you open it up and it's like, shit, there's a 5th faction, and nobody knew about it. Like, it was the tornadoes, the twisters.
Yeah.
And it's like, because in all their advertising and stuff, it was like there's sharks and whatever the other 3 were.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, they just tossed in a tornado faction, and it's like for the Sharknado, and it's like that's just really cool, like how they, approach everything. And
another thing about
cash cow, that game.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because they keep making these factions,
and people keep buying them.
Oh yeah, I will keep buying. I will buy every single expansion, everything that they put out for this. It's phenomenal.
I wonder what their next box will be, because we have the biggest damn box.
Yeah, it was the big geeky box, and then the bigger geekier box. Now it's gonna be probably the biggest geekiest box.
And we're the morons. We just keep buying these new boxes. I have the other box sitting there empty in my deal. I'm like,
I think I threw it away because I'm like, I don't need this.
Somebody may buy
I have the playmat right up there. Oh well, they also release like a power up just promo thing, which were
and there's a Titans pack.
Yeah, the Titans pack. That's what it was. Yeah, because one expansion, I hope they do this for the rest of them. But one expansion added your little divider actually had a superpower. So the Power Rangers one had essentially the whatever. I never watched Power Rangers, but a Titan that can be played on the board and has a power. Then they did a Titan pack, which were like, was it 16? Was it 16?
I don't know if there's.
But there was
yeah.
it added more titans for previous factions. I think they need to do that for all of them, because that can be kind of broken having that out and no one else gets it. For the explorers, the thing is just a boulder.
Yeah.
Like the titan's a boulder. But then they do tournaments for these, which is where that playmat came from. Was the tournament?
Is that the trip mat you bought for me, or did you?
No. That was
okay,
I bought
so you
off
bought
eBay.
one for me. So you
I did buy one from you, and then that one was actually a tournament one.
Gotcha.
That's the big one. Then they have the All Stars Prac was that tournament. They're about to do another one, I think. So I need to try and look into that. But anyway, Smash Up is phenomenal. It doesn't take that long to play, which is also great because then you're just like, oh, let's just combo these out. So that's my number 18.
All right. My number 18 just fell 3 spots. It's going to be one of those that stays up there all the time as long as I can find somebody to play it with me. And it's the wonderful game Blood Bowl Team Manager. Have you played that one?
No, I've not played a single Blood Bowl.
I think you would enjoy it.
I bought Blood Bowl and I was like, I don't want to learn this.
Yeah, but this is a card game. Strictly cards. There's no miniatures. It's all card based. And it simulates a really fast football game.
Okay.
And you have a hand. It's a deck builder.
Okay.
Is what this game is. And you're just there's going to be highlights.
Okay.
Of the game. They're called highlights. And you're gonna you go around the table playing one person down.
Okay.
On each, almost like Smash Up style. You're placing a card down, and then as you place it, there's like a tackle ability, or they have abilities like if it has a ball symbol, that means the ball moves one step closer to you or whatever.
All right.
At the end, after everybody's placed and everything, then you look for power. Whoever has the most power, because the card has, whoever has the most power will get this benefit, which may be recruiting new players to your team.
Okay.
Or whatever, and they're powerful free agents and stuff like that. And what you're doing is you're playing through a season, so like there's three games you're playing, and then like there'll be like the actual Blood Bowl will be the last one, and you play through, and the victory points that you gain are actually fans, so everybody has their own spinner, like dial spinner.
Okay.
And so fans, whenever you see the little flag, that's you're gaining fans. There's also cheating tokens. So like some players are really powerful, but they get a skull thing, and it's called cheat tokens. So you have a whole pile of these things that are on the back side. It could be positive, most of them are negative. So you just put that token on it. You don't know what it is. And but before you score each highlight, you flip those over. It may be a whistle. If it's a whistle, they're ejected out of the game, and then that person's power is gone.
Gotcha.
From the deal. So it's almost like a football smash up in a way. You're playing, and it's really cool. I think you'd like it.
Yeah.
Just because you like football enough,
right.
and but there's like a human faction. There's the Skaven. There's the Chaos.
So do you think, you said this will probably hover around your 20, do you think the football highlights, 20 whatever, do you think do you think you'll still like...
They're different style of games.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, it can be played solo, and it's a lot like, it remains to be seen.
Yeah.
On that. I just like this because, I've played the Blood Bowl Team Manager so many freaking times. I wish there was a solo variant for it.
Yeah.
Because I have everything for it. It's out of print now. I have Fantasy Flight. And
that's right.
So you can't get them anymore unless you spend a fortune. I have there's stadiums in one of the expansions.
Okay.
About every faction. There's even like there's like the vampire faction.
Ooh.
That has like zombies and vampires and stuff. Cool. And just, it's old school Warhammer. It's not the 40K Warhammer.
Yeah.
But it's just really fun. I've played it with Chad and those guys, and you can't take it too seriously because you're playing here, but you can only have, like I said, that each card has, if you win it, if you play your card on this side, you get these winning things, or if you win, you get this stuff.
Okay.
But only, if you play with 4 people, that means there's 4 teams.
Yeah.
But only 2 teams can be on a highlight.
Alright.
Unless you knock a player out, injure them or whatever. Because there's a dice mechanic too, because there's a tackle, so when you play a card, if it has this burst symbol, it means tackle, you compare powers.
Okay.
So if there's a 3 over here and I play a 5, then I roll 2 green dice and I get to choose the outcome.
Oh, okay.
But if you're the same strength, you just roll 1 dice and that's the outcome. you can attempt to tackle a stronger one,
Mm-hmm.
but that means you roll 2 dice and they get to choose.
Oh, okay.
So there, it's really neat. It's
Interesting.
it's a beer and pretzels football.
I never knew anything about it.
Yeah,
People
it would be
talked
one
about
that I
it.
think you'd like to try. It's just fun, and being able to take those new players as you recruit them,
Mm-hmm.
they will start in your hand the next game. So it's
Oh yeah, so
it's
you
not
actually
like they go down.
yeah.
Because,
Hey, I'm glad I paid to have you on my team, but whenever you decide
right,
to play,
and then you get they have all these like little cards. They're like little coaches that
Okay.
you get hired when you get stuff, or there's
Mhm.
special team abilities you'll get depending on if you win highlights. And it's really cool.
Cool.
I really like it. Anyway.
my number 17, Rose from 37.
All right.
So Rose 20 spaces, and this game will probably continue to either stay around this or keep raising because it's Fantasy Flight and they keep releasing expansions. And it completely made the first edition absolutely obsolete, and it's Mansions of Madness 2nd edition. So Mansions of Madness has, I always loved the first edition, but at that time it was one versus many. 2nd edition came out with an app that is probably one of the best apps I've seen integrated in a board game. It just it takes care of all the bookkeeping
Yes.
and throws it into this app. So you just follow that, and they have music, they have sound effects, so it immerses you into this world. And you have so many scenarios at this point. There's about to release another big box expansion.
Well, the Sanctum one just came out like a month ago. Is that the
Yeah,
one
I think
you're
there's
thinking of?
I think there's another one coming out.
Okay.
I feel like I saw them advertise it. It'll come out later this year. But Mansions of Madness, you are investigators trying to figure out something that's going on in this thing, and they did this in the 3rd edition Arkham. There's no app, but it's scenario based, so you're playing through a story, and you don't know what is going on, so you don't know how to win. You don't know. You're just thrown in, and you're like, okay, I guess we're trying to figure out what's happening. And you'll go to these locations, and the app will tell you what happens and then what to roll, and then there's puzzles, which I always thought was awesome in the 1st edition, was the physical puzzles they were trying to fix, all in the app now, so it's just cleaner, it's more intuitive, and it's just a phenomenal co-op game. Like Mansions of Madness, it's good. I've actually played this solo as well. It's a great solo. You work together trying to figure out how to solve this scenario, and there's different difficulty levels, different lengths, so you have a lot of options. And what's great about this is there's some scenarios where once you've figured it out, or once you've beaten it, it's like, okay, I've done that. But the more scenarios that they come out with, there's so many different endings. Like, depending on how well you do throughout the scenario. Like, one I've played twice, and I got a completely radical different ending from in both of them, and I was I was actually
Right.
like mind blown.
Well, a lot of it depends because this game lends itself. The more you own, the better it is. The better replayability because different monsters from weird sets can
Right.
show up in.
Right.
So there's more. The more monsters you have, the more
Right.
random monsters you can have.
That
pop
is
up
true.
in
That is
deals.
true.
And also, the infinite. I mean, they could just not come out with any more boxes if they wanted to, and just keep making
come up with
making stuff for the app.
Yeah, because they made DLCs.
Yeah, because
for
I mean,
the
I
app.
bought. I mean, they're $5 a deal, but
Yeah.
when you sit and think about how much work went into it. And,
Yeah.
I mean, I've bought the 3. There's been 3, I think, DLCs.
I think so.
So I've bought all those, and
Yeah, that's true. They really could just keep.
just keep pumping that stuff out and making money.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't blame them. Like you have, I'm pulling it up now. One thing that I really like about this as well is, oh man, I totally drawn a blank. Is some of the scenarios aren't all combat. Like
Right.
some are like, hey, you're going to be fighting a lot, but others are actual detective work. I've done the one, Horrific Journeys, is the one.
Oh, that's the one where you're like on a train and you're on.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember seeing what's his name, do an unboxing of that. Sam.
I need to. Damn it.
Yeah,
I
'cause
didn't-
I don't even have Sanctum yet. I need to get Sanctum and I need to get that one.
Yeah, it's Altered Fates is a DLC. and then Dark Reflections is a DLC. So and What Lies Within. Yep. So there are 3 DLCs.
Yeah.
I have done the one that is
The super long one.
240 to 360 minutes. I have done that one, and that one was awesome. And I did it in one sitting. You just have so many. There's 19 scenarios, including that expansion.
For the money that, I mean, it's an expensive game. But you
It
get
is.
so much, if you take the amount of content there is, especially if you play it all, it's worth it. for
Right,
sure.
right. Yeah, Horrific Journeys was that one.
Yeah,
Sanctum of Twilight.
Yeah,
was
see, I need
what
to
the
get
thing of.
Sanctum, but the Horrific Journeys is there's like a train, all the train tiles, there's a ship, like a boat,
Ooh, that's
there was like an air, like a
flying thing.
Hindenburg kind of
Oh,
thing.
blimp.
Because Sam Healy did an unboxing
Okay.
and went through it on Dice
That's
Tower.
really cool. Yeah, so they could just keep doing this, and it's Fantasy Flight, so they will
Yeah,
until they do a 3rd edition,
yeah.
if they ever do one. But the only thing I hate about Mansions of Madness 2nd edition is the Insanity cards. Most of them aren't value added. Like one of them is because like if you don't know what's in there, then it just kind of throws the game. And if you do know what's in there, and you just know what someone is.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Pyromaniac is the one that weirdly enough always pops up. And so once someone starts going off on their own and then setting fires, you're like, okay, now we just need to stop them because we know what they're doing. I don't like the insanity mechanic at all,
I don't know.
but that's a small thing, and it doesn't even, you can't even do it if it's solo.
Right.
So, Mansion of Madness is fantastic. It's so good. One of my friend's favorite games. He actually owns all of it as well. So,
When I play it at a friend's house, we hook it up through his surround sound and big screen. Because then the music's constantly going around, and then you have the big screen set up there, and he's using his computer to.
That's really cool.
He said it's really awesome.
That's awesome. So that's my 17 Mansions of Madness 2nd
All
edition.
right, my number 17 is
Have
a
you-
new one to the. Oh, what's that?
Have you said Mansions of Madness 2nd edition?
I don't believe I have.
Whoops. Anyway, new to the list.
Number 17 is new to the list. I love this game, even in the core version of it. Adding the 2 expansions made it even better. It is Raiders of the North Sea. There's something about this game, and I think it's the simplicity of the worker placement, worker pickup mechanic.
So neat.
That's
That's new too.
Yeah.
To my knowledge.
Yeah, I've never seen a game do it, and it's Viking theme, which I love Viking stuff. But the game is so fluid. Like I've played this game with all the counts, 2 to 4. Well, and now I haven't played it solo yet because I bought the solo deck.
Okay.
So to try it solo, I haven't tried that, but it's just so awesome, and it rolls out smoothly. You place a worker, you get a worker, and as you build up, then you can start getting the gray and the white workers, and you just kind of slowly roll it out.
You start doing more and more
that stuff. The base game, like I said, by itself was wonderful, but once you've played it a few times, and everything, you kind of need the Hall of Heroes and the Fields of Fame.
Yeah.
And those make it just blows out of the water. Now, the obvious question is, is Architects going to replace it? No, it's not. Architect, I consider them completely different games because Raiders is the place one, pick one. Architects, you start out with a
All
shit
of them,
ton,
right?
and it's a whole different deal. But Raiders of the North Sea just, for some reason, it just hits. I think that the art is colorful.
It is very bright.
The art is there. That one came with the metal coins, and when you buy it retail, it has all the different scoring tracks for the
Valkyries.
the Valkyrie stuff, and your shield, your defense stuff, and it plays fairly quick once everybody knows how to play, and you just go in and
the card play with your Vikings.
Yeah, it's your cards have
wasn't
multiple
bad.
functions. That's another thing. Like being able, you can use this card for the action. You can make it part of your crew. It's just that I haven't played Shipwrights and I haven't played Explorers. I've heard they aren't as good.
Yeah.
But Shem Phillips seems to be kind of a hot guy right now because of this, and then Architects is really good.
Yeah.
Waiting for Paladins Kickstarter to see what it's gonna be like and stuff. But yeah, Raiders of the North Sea is just super.
Hot garbage. No. I didn't hate it by any means. My biggest qualm with him was like you get screwed on turn order, because it's like, okay, well, you go before me. Oh, you happen to attack that place and got all the resources. I guess I'm stuck with this one. And I just wish there was a way to exchange resources around, be a little bit more fluid. Other than that, like it was a fine game.
Yeah.
All right, 16. My number 16 fell from number 7, so it fell 9 spaces. And this game is, funny enough, it's number 16. It's almost borderline perfection, and I think this designer has been trying to grasp that feeling again, and it's Blood Rage.
Mm-hmm.
Blood Rage is probably the best Viking game to come out. It does everything. You don't think so?
No. We're great.
Yeah,
I'm not. We'll talk about that later.
I'm not a huge Viking guy anyway. Vikings to me at this point are kind of what zombies were a couple years ago, where everything is Vikings coming out.
Yeah.
I'm curious to think what you. I know.
Blood Rage was 34.
Okay. I know what your Viking game is.
Not.
But they're both completely different games anyway. Anyway, Blood Rage is it does card drafting and area control, which are two probably of my favorite mechanics. Why'd that fizz? It's water. Anyway, so you have your own faction that starts off as with nothing, which are some people's complaints, because like, oh, I wish my faction was unique. It's like, well, when you card draft, pretty much from that first drop, you're already absolutely unique. So many paths to victory, and Sam Healy, this is obviously his number 1. I think it'll be his number 1 forever, until they do Blood Rage 2nd edition. Or they'll probably do. Can you rhyme Blood Rage with something else to make some shitty ripoff like Starcadia Quest? Can you rip off your previous
idea to try now?
But with Blood Rage, like I said, you're card drafting, and it's what I love about card drafting is you're like, okay, this is what I want. Oh crap, I don't want to give this to that person.
There's so many powerful cards.
Yep. And what he said is because you don't use all the cards through there's only 3 ages, that you're always seeing new combinations. Mm-hmm. My go-to is the Loki strategy. Cop out. Especially with Fenrir.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, ha-ha!
Yeah, you can get that. Just like...
Yeah, Sam Healy hates that. It's like, well, if you're so good at the game, why don't you stop it? But you have so many paths, so many quests you can do to get points. The card drafting makes you feel unique, and you just have these awesome abilities. There's these big monsters that only will be your monsters if you happen to draft them and pay your rage for them to bring them out. And I have the full Kickstarter thing. I have everything for it. Was there an art book for it? I might have to.
Maybe.
There might not. There might have been. But it's so solid. Like when I first played it, I was like, this game. It sucks at 2, but 3 and up I think is really good. Like I said, I have everything. I have all the Kickstarter stuff for it. Monsters are awesome. Card play is awesome. Area control is amazing. Combat is really cool too, because it's like you might know what people have picked. You're like, okay, well, I can go combat heavy and try and get a bunch of points that way. There's some faction abilities you can take where you can pillage twice and get the resources twice. Others are like, because the board becomes smaller and smaller, so you can kind of turtle up at the beginning, but at the end you will not be able to. There are 2 expansions for it. One of them is the Gods of Asgard expansion, which I don't like. I think it's just unnecessary. But the Mystics one, I do like that, because if you get your Mystics, then... Because there's only a limited number of spots in each section, that if those are full, oh well, that's what it is. But if you have your Mystics, they can pop someone out. And I remember, were you there for that? You might not have been there when I played this with the Chads and stuff. There was a move that Denton did where he used his Mystic to pop out and take one of my spots, which left an empty spot open. And then he was like, yeah, you're not going to like this either. And he popped in one monster that I think once it entered, it like killed everything. And so he just took it and just wiped that area for me. And I was like, oh my god.
There's big power swings in that game, for sure.
Yeah, and everyone usually gets one. And but there's, like, even if your people die, they go to Valhalla, which you can get a bunch of points for how many people you pull out, so you can want to die.
Especially if you're Loki.
If you're Loki, yeah. So, Blood Rage is just phenomenal. Just other games.
Yeah.
Other games, man.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That's what I'm going to be saying here so, with my 16.
Okay, 16?
My 16 was number 3
Oh, God.
last year.
Jeez. 13 spots.
You'll agree with me on this one.
Okay.
That's the thing.
What's funny is, like, we're only, like, 9 spaces. Like, earlier we had huge drops, but it's like, this is coming, you gotta understand, this is coming out of our top 10, like, games of all time. And you have 400 games. I have at least probably 200 at this point. These are actually more bigger drops, because out of 20, it's just like, oh, this fell 40 spaces.
This one is Arcadia Quest.
Okay. Yeah.
It'll always be one that I'll have around there. It'll probably be a top 20, 30 all the time.
Hopefully it just keeps going.
No, I just don't think because my wife loves this game. Like as far as conflict miniatures games, this is her favorite miniatures game because she loves how there's a goal and there's also the PvP and there's a campaign. You know that she just loves that shit. That's I haven't touched Inferno yet. I'm actually have it up for sale, like I was telling you earlier, just because I don't know if I need it. Because playing the core box, I have like 5 campaigns going in the core box, and then I have the Beyond the Grave, and I think that's probably about.
I think it's just for more variety of campaigns.
Yeah, so I mean, to be honest with you, I'm fine having. Because as much as it gets played, I mean that's gonna be fine.
Right.
But it just fell because it hasn't been played for a while, and there's just a lot of other miniature type stuff that has come out or is in the top 10 that has pushed it off. You know, it's if you don't know what Arcadia Quest is, really quickly. Is you are your own guild of 3 heroes, all with special powers. You're going out and there's in the campaign there's a goal. You're taking out this
Lord
bad
Fang
guy or whatever.
is his name.
Yeah, for the end game one. Yeah, the very first one's like the butcher, isn't it? Or the very first mission.
The very first campaign was the overarching story of trying to build up to beat Lord Fang.
Right. I was just trying to think of the
I
first
remember
scenario.
the first
I think
scenario
it was like a butcher. The
some
butcher
guy,
anyway, so you have these conditions out here, and you have to complete 2 of the 3. So it may be like.
You have to complete 3 goals. One of them has to be PvP.
Well, and it depends on the number of players.
Oh, gotcha.
Because some of them
I played at 4.
Right. But yeah, one of them has to be PvP, so you have to knock off somebody, and then do 1 or 2 of the other things, depending on player count. But the thing that I like about it, there's so many heroes, there's so many powers. In some scenarios, your players may feel worthless, and in other scenarios that their ability may be a super strength.
Yeah.
So it just kind of goes around with that, and what I like about it though is like campaign games. You think about all these campaign games that have come out here recently. You're playing them for 10, 15, 20 sessions.
Yeah.
The campaign for Arcadia Quest is like
6.
5 or 6 games.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like you could sit down and knock 2 or 3 of those out in one shot and be done. So
you probably don't because it's very cutthroat.
If you have a crappy team, it's not going to be that big. If you like the game, you're going to be able to fire through it pretty quick.
I will say I did like at the end you do feel super powerful, and I mean you said Arcadia Quest you have 2 heroes in your guild, not 3.
It's going
so
to 2.
Which might be better because in my opinion in Arcadia Quest you only will get so much money to be able to upgrade probably two people really well, and when your third person is just gonna be kind of the peon that'll just be
Right.
like I definitely had one girl that just didn't do anything, but my two wizards were awesome.
Yeah. I always go. Two of my ones I always go with are Grom, the Conan guy.
Okay.
Because when he's injured, he gets more powerful.
He deals more damage.
And then the one that doesn't have an ability, she's just
Diva.
Diva, yeah. Those are two that I always love in my party. And
Do
then
you?
The other one will be it.
See, we did draft. Yeah, and I picked Seth because I'm like, obviously that's my name,
Right.
and he's busted towards the end.
Yeah. It's Starcade. I'm curious on Starcade Quest.
I'm not buying it.
I want to watch a play of it. I want to
Yeah.
watch to see how different it is with two heroes.
Right.
Because I've watched people talk about it and talk about how, you know, because obviously there's Star Wars mimicked players in there and all that stuff. I'm like, that might be pretty cool. So I may be buying a Kickstarter version of it if the gameplay looks sweet, because I think sci-fi would be a neat deal with guns and all that stuff.
It could be cool.
But we'll see. I'm not going to jump right out and do it because I just want to see when it plays first. But anyway, Arcade Quest, wonderful game. It just fell mainly because of lack of play right now.
Definitely Ameritrash.
And more miniatures games coming out.
Yeah.
You know it.
CMON needs to step up their game because so far they're no longer the wow, those are amazing minis. It's
it's because their company they did too many too soon.
Yeah.
Together, and now they're having to kind of pump their brakes.
Yep.
Because I think that last one, the Cthulhu one,
Death May Die,
I think was almost like a because I think they bit off more than they could chew with that one.
Probably. Probably, because I mean at this point everyone bought them because they were cool mini or not.
Right.
I don't think they go by that anymore. Is it just CMON or is it like the
okay? There's two versions of it too. There's CMON Limited. And,
oh yeah, so I mean they were known for their high production quality, but with the things to Kickstarter, which they go on all the time now, it's like, I mean, I just have hate over there, which I mean I guess I should shut up because those are the best minis I've seen, but that's not hard to do anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So
the only good minis are ones you have to put together.
Bullshit.
I love that.
You haven't put Kingdom Death minis. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
You put pretty rough.
No, they're not. You have no idea what it's like to put hands on the fucking wing of a phoenix. You don't know what I've been through. My number 15 is new to the list. One of the latest games I've actually given a 10, because it just does everything. Once again, does everything right. I think Blood Rage is also a 10, and that's Dinosaur Island. Dinosaur Island is it's so good. It's you are a company making your own dinosaur theme park, and the way this game works is you have 4 different phases that are kind of their own mini games, like in their own right. Like one phase is you're drafting dice to get you your DNA, and then you're also getting your different dinosaurs that you want to use your DNA resources to produce and then actually have them in your park. Second phase is the market phase where you're buying upgrades and hiring people which are really good abilities or stands and stuff like that to generate more income or more people. The third phase is your worker placement phase within your own table to utilize, you spend your DNA or upgrade your security, because the more dinosaurs that you put in, the more your threat level goes up, and if your security is not as good, then a lot of the people will eat you, or will eat you. A lot of the dinosaurs will eat your people that are coming in. And then the fourth phase is you're drawing people from a bag, and you could get, hey, paying people, which is awesome, or you can occasionally get, which I'm glad that there's like 10 hooligans.
Yeah.
In a bag of like 40.
Mm-hmm.
So you're most likely going to get people who pay, but every now and then you could definitely get like 5 people that's like, God! So the hooligans, they don't pay, and they fill up your spots first, so because they sneak in. And then if you have room left, then your paying people will come in. That's what generates your income. And money is super tight in this game. It's just, the only luck is drawn from the bag, really. So I absolutely love this '90s Jurassic
and
Park.
the dice roll for the drafting.
Right,
You get
but
those if the dice are
it doesn't
shitty.
swing like in one person's favor.
No.
Yeah, but right.
Right.
I guess I mean luck, where it's like, wow, you only did well because dice went your way.
Yeah, you're right.
Everything, how well you do, how thematic you want to be, is all on you. I actually just recorded this with the Totally Liquid, which added a bunch of modules. One was like blueprints you could do. Another one was, different secret goals that you can go to, and at the end you have 2 of them, and you can pick one, and everyone scores off of it.
Gotcha.
So you know what it is, and you can aim for it to benefit the most. But if someone happens to do the same thing you did, then yay, they get points, and everyone does that. They have a Mega T-Rex module. They have a little baby, and I have the Kickstarter, so I have all those different dinosaur plastic pieces. It's just so good. Like, in the water dinosaurs, and that's the route he went, was to see one of the water dinosaurs, which are really threatening, but like no one likes them.
Right.
Like, so your fame or your popularity doesn't go up as much.
There are 2 things about this game, because I like this game too a lot. The first thing is when you're teaching this game, because it's a very daunting game to teach. You have to teach it mini game by mini game.
Yep.
And then start over.
Yep. Yeah.
Or unless everybody's done a good enough job and is okay with it.
That's actually what we did for the recording.
Right, because there it is. It's 4 mini games.
Yep.
And if you hose yourself at the very beginning, it's going to hurt you later. So you need to see that every decision you make is important. Second is you have to play with people you trust.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I forgot about that
when you
part.
do the worker placement phase, that is all done simultaneously. Yeah. And people are like, I'm just going to throw this up here. I'm going to add a little extra
Yeah.
security here.
Yeah.
You have to make sure people aren't cheating. Because if
Right.
you have cheaters in your group, you need to just... It'll slow the game down, but you almost need to be like, okay, you go ahead and do your actions.
Yeah, let's all watch.
You know,
and if you're playing with someone like that, you shouldn't.
I know, but I'm just saying it
Yeah.
lends itself to it because I've played with somebody that did that, and I know they
Gotcha.
did it, and it becomes an awkward.
Yeah, an awkward affair where it's like, really,
Deal.
why?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, those are 2 very valid points.
It's like turn 1, you're at 12 security. Like, it's like, come on.
That's literally impossible. No, I did it, man. I did it. We did the same thing. We did a full round to teach, and then I was like, well, we can start over, or if you feel good, we can just start recording here. And they're like, yeah, we're happy with our decisions. Another thing that was actually a small complaint was that your initiative order changes based off of how popular you are. So if you're not as popular, you'll go first.
Yeah.
That just can kind of throw people, because you expect to go me, you, and then just go like that. So there are times where we'd be like, oh crap, you were supposed to go. But just be more aware of that. They gave it I think they all gave it like a 9, and I was like, this is a 10 for me. Theme is amazing. Everything you do is thematic. Like, I just love being in charge. And it's Roller Coaster Tycoon, but dinosaurs. You're making your own theme park. Super awesome. Many paths to victory. Love this game. My number 15.
All right. My number 15 is new to the list.
What is it?
It's Dinosaur Island.
No way. Is there?
Yeah, so we don't need to talk about it.
Cool.
We just did.
That's so funny.
As soon as you said that, I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah, great. Cool. Number 14. Number 14, I think, is also new to the list. It is new to the list, and I know this won't be on your list because you haven't played it. I think you should play it, though, because it has a solo mode. Game by Leader Games. I actually hated their first version, right? Not their first game, but I rebought it because I loved this game so much, and it's Root. Root is... whenever I play games, with my group here, and whenever they ask to play games, again, oh, we can play, Mansions Madness is one of them. Now my friend is like, oh, we can always play that again.
Right.
Because they're not into the hobby as much, so whenever they find it, or when they go out and buy it, then it's that's kind of how I know the game was a success. But Root is probably the best asymmetrical game that I've played, where everyone's faction is so radically different that you're essentially playing a completely different game. the cat players playing the worker placement resource management game. The Eagles, not Eagles, are they Eagles?
The birds.
The birds,
yeah.
sure. They're playing a programming game. The Vagabond is doing his own thing, and everyone's doing their own thing, but they still somehow merge and tie together. So in Root, it's pretty don't let the artwork fool you, because it's a it's a pretty heavy game.
It's a war game.
It's a heavy war game.
It's just easy.
And with woodland creatures. So like I said, asymmetrical. It's not even asymmetrical powers. You are playing something completely different. Like the cats start off with most board presence, which essentially thematically makes sense for the game, but they become like the immediate threat, and it's like towards the end, and they are if you ignore them, then if you ignore any faction, you're gonna lose. So then you have the Eagles, which probably have the biggest risk reward, because they have their programming thing, and over time it just becomes more and more complex, that if they cannot do it, if they can never do one of their cards, they fall into turmoil. So they'll rack up a bunch of points, but then they can lose a bunch of points immediately. But if you leave them unchecked, then they will win.
Yeah.
I feel like. So it's like you have to look at their board and be like, okay, he needs to attack in a rabbit area. No one be in the rabbit area for him to attack, because then because if he has it's first 1 to 20 points, and that's it, boom, 20. Or they did something also really smart, where it's like, okay, if you're not doing that well on points wise, you can take I can't remember what it's called, but it's a specific card that is now, you're no longer going on points, you're going off of this objective.
Right.
And if you can do that, then you win. And then there's the Woodland Alliance, which are super sneaky, and Cat actually won the game with them. I think I was 1 point. Yeah, I had 19. Is it 20 points or 30? I was 1 point off from winning, and I couldn't squeak out any. And then she came in, and because they are all about rallying the other Woodland people to fight back, so they'll place tokens in that they can just pop and then just kill everyone in that area. And there's ways to stop them too. But if you move through their spots, you have to give them cards, which are more allies for them to use. This game is so smart in its execution. I have the expansion as well. They're about to go on Kickstarter again for another expansion, which adds moles and crows, I want to say.
Sounds right. I think that's what I've heard.
Yeah, and the Riverfolk expansion adds beavers, which are the merchants. So they you can hire them or buy because their cards are up for sale, and you give them your workers to because they can price gouge. They can set their prices for all these different little areas to hire them as mercenaries, so they can put their workers out in a spot, and you can pay them to be okay, now your people work for me. So in this upcoming battle, I actually have 4 strength because your people are there.
Right.
Versus, and then if the birds were there and it was 3 to 1, now it's 4 to 3. Combat is super awesome because if you're attacking, you roll 2 dice and you take the higher one, they take the lower one. Unless you're attacking the Woodland Alliance, which means they take the higher one and you take the lower one. It's so good. And I haven't played with the lizards, but they're all about religion, and they have a cult and they do something, but I've never played with them. Just your variation of who can be in the game. You can have 2 vagabonds.
That's probably what I would play, would be a vagabond.
The vagabond's really weird because he can't be attacked.
Right.
He can work together with all the other people, and to get he can get points for helping them out, and then get items that only he can use. So if you're making items, you can try and work with the vagabond. But he can also use his items to kill you. And once he kills you, then you're an enemy. But he gets points for each one of your people he kills.
Right.
And he can move more through. He can go into the woods and then heal up and then just pop out somewhere else. He has quests that he goes on. That's how he gets a lot of his points, is finishing quests. So the more quests of the same type he finishes, he gets more and more points. But he also, if he's not doing well on victory points, he can ally with another player, and if they win, he also wins.
Yeah.
And it's you're annoying. It's phenomenal. I love this game. Probably with I really want to play with the lizards. super excited for the expansion. It made me buy Vast again because I was like, look, maybe it was the group. Like, I can't imagine Root being so good that Vast is bad.
Right.
So I have everything for Vast as far as I know, so I need to give that a shot. But that's my number 14.
Yeah.
Root.
Yeah, I want to try it sometime. My number 14 is...
Root. It's like, what?
Well, that's what I was going to say, Root. It's new to the list.
Okay.
It's a bag building game.
Altiplano?
Yep.
Altiplano.
Altiplano.
The expansion.
The llama game.
The alpaca game.
Alpaca, yes, sorry.
They're different. I don't know how.
This game is really cool. It takes a lot of what Orleans did and added a spatial element to it where you're moving around the modular board. It's I really don't know how else to explain it. It's you're gaining resources. You're using those resources to do other actions and gain other resources, and in turn, you also get to one of the difference between is you have a warehouse. So like as you are building up your bag is getting all these deals, you can put stuff in a warehouse, but that's how you lighten your load of your bag. But you have to strategically place it in your warehouse because you can only put the same thing in your deal unless you have corn.
Which is a while, but if corn's the first one, then only corn can do that.
So that's how you make your bag efficient, is by putting stuff in warehouses. You score those at the end.
This game sucks at 2 players. Just so you know.
Oh yeah. You definitely. It's not like because in Orleans,
I think it works.
You can
find
fine.
It too.
This one you need to have the extra stuff.
Because the game ends when a location's stack depletes.
Right.
And in 2 players, you can't do enough. God, they're so long.
Which I haven't ever played it 2 player. Are you supposed to restrict the resources on places maybe?
No, like I
haven't played it 2 to know.
Like it adds more. I feel like, and I was like,
really? Okay.
Look, are we missing something? Because this is taking forever.
The one thing that I like about this better than Orleans, is in Orleans as you're using your things. They just go right back into your bag. So if you have something in your bag you're searching for, your bag always has almost the same number of tokens in it. I mean, I know you can keep stuff on your track.
Yeah. Or you can go to the town hall and read it out.
In Altiplano, you have a box, a cart box, whatever they want to call it. So as you're using stuff, you toss them in there. So you go through, like a deck building game, you have to go all the way through your bag first, and then you dump that in. So you're getting to use every single thing you've purchased before you go back in. So it's a personal preference thing. If you, some people like the Orleans thing better, where if you're putting powerful stuff in there, you get it back. You know, if you don't, Altiplano, if you're buying powerful stuff, you know you have to wait until your bag empties before you have a chance to use it. I mean, I could see it going either way.
Yeah.
It's personal preference on that.
Altiplano did not make my list.
Right.
Orleans.
You need to play it.
Orleans. Yeah, I need to play it. That's probably why, because I want to play that too. They have the expansion, which I have.
I haven't bought the expansion. I need to like make a purchase of just because I'm missing like the Amazons. I need like the expansion purchase.
Yeah. Orleans is 37 for me. So. Obviously, I like Orleans better.
Right. But these are. I like bag building. That was a thing that when you introduced me to Orleans and stuff, that was a thing. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then when Altiplano came out, I was like, that's another thing, and then adds a little more to it, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know where this will settle yet because I haven't played it a super amount yet. I've only played it with 3. I want to try it with 4. I want to try it with the expansion just to see kind of what it does. So we'll see. But for right now, it's at 14. I still need to. Actually, here's the other one. I need to play it a couple more times before I decide if I want a coin capsule.
Oh.
Because that's what I did with Orleans is coin capsule everything. So I don't want to do that if I'm not going to end up
right,
liking it
right.
long term.
I gotcha.
But yeah, it's a really good game though, and I want to try it some more to see where it falls.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alrighty,
Cool.
so number 13,
Yes.
getting closer. My number 13 fell from 12, so
yeah.
one space. I am curious, actually. I know this game. Yeah, so okay. So my number 13 is Anachrony.
That's another one I think I'm wanting to try at some point.
I think you should try. I think you should always try games. Like, I think you should try Anachrony. I think you should try Feudum. At least have me teach it to you, because I know it. And I think you should try Tricarion. Just to know, but you'll probably never get them played, even if you buy them.
I'm just thinking theme. Of those three, like if I was going to put in Anachrony, it would probably be the theme that I would like the most of the three.
So Anachrony is a brain-burning game from Mind Clash Games about time travel, really. Which, I mean, it's more that the world, and I think it's like an asteroid is coming, and you're trying to prep your civilization, your faction, to be the one that, like, takes over, is like the leader of the new world. And in this game, you're kind of building a tableau, more or less. You're building these different sections in your own area, which are kind of like what I always like in worker placement games, and that's what this is. It's a worker placement game. Is that I always like where you buy stuff that become your place to go. Mm-hmm. Like I always like Everdell does that. Like, hey, now this is my place that I can go, and it just makes you feel more unique. But in Anachrony, you can do a bunch of stuff where you can send back and get resources from yourself or from your past. But then as time progresses, you have to start fixing because you're creating paradoxes, which can definitely hurt you in the future. So with Anachrony, you have different sections that you can go to, and you have different workers. And some places, like some workers can't go there at all, but other workers can, and they can do it more efficiently. Like if you have your engineers that you can go to the mining area and you get better resources. You have geniuses that you can get that they can do everything. And you have a morale mechanic, really, because once these people come back, depending on where they go, they can come back refreshed. Like, hey, I'm the engineer. I do this for a living, so I'm not tired. Mm-hmm. But if you use them somewhere else, they'll come back and they'll need to go to bed. So over time, you'll need to spend, I think it's like water, to wake them up. Okay, but if you can quickly wake them up and be like, get the fuck at work, then you'll lose morale, and that's like negative points at the end. You have your own objective you're trying to complete before, because at some point, I can't remember what round it is, the meteor is coming, and now that's your time where you can evacuate. Mm-hmm. And when you can only evacuate whenever you complete one of your goals. So with Anachrony 1, the theme is, Mind Clash is also one of those companies that their theme is always unique. So this one's about time travel. They did Tricarion, which just went up on the channel, actually, and I did a how to play for that one. I also did a how to play for Anachrony. And I don't know which one I like better. Tricarion was 77, but I hadn't played it in a while, and I just replayed it. And I don't know, because Tricarion's about stage magicians, which I think is really interesting. Instead of actually being like wizards, you're a performer, and you're trying to get your tricks already, getting the resources for that. Both of them are just so good, and so intuitive, and so everything is up to you and how well you do. It is brain burning, but I like that in a worker placement game. I don't like worker placements where you always get to do whatever. Right. Like there's no stress, there's no strategy. It's like, oh, I'll get to do whatever I want. No, you need to be efficient. And like I said, I like the time travel aspect. It's in there, and you need to, if you're like, crap, I really need this mech, because you can only send people out in mechs. So you only have a certain number of mechs available that you can send them out into the world. And I have the mech expansion, so you can actually slot them into their little minis.
Another thing that intrigues me about that game is I follow like a lot of the top solo games.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people say that a really good solo experience is with it.
I need to try
really
that.
Cool AI
Yeah.
deal that's unique. So that's what I'm kind of...
Right, there is a solo mode that I have not tried. I heard that it's really cool. They do have other modules.
Right.
So it's so smart. And the only other game by them that I need to try is Cerebria. It's about emotions.
Yeah, but it's a team-based game, and
Is it?
that's like you play as teams.
Okay.
So like you have 4 players, 2 of you are this
Interesting.
deal, and 2 of you are that. Like it's
I didn't know
weird.
that. I mean, because they have to be a way. If you have odd numbers, because
I think it's like 2 plays 1 emotion, 1 plays other.
Gotcha.
It's like there's a mode. It's a team-based game is what everything I've heard about.
Okay.
It's like the Secret Cabal guys I listen to they're talking about.
So I don't know. I know they're getting ready to do something with Anachrony on Kickstarter. I think they're about to do. I can't remember what, but it's coming.
Yeah.
But it's phenomenal. I mean, it fell 1 space.
Right.
Terkarion, I know, will rise for sure. I just don't know where these are going to place next time.
Right.
But that's my number 13.
Alright, so my number 13 is new to the list, and it's the exact opposite as far as weight.
Okay.
And depth. Is Azul.
Oh, okay.
Right now, I just have it as Azul the regular, because when I made this list, I hadn't played
played Stained
the
Glass.
Stained Glass, and I don't know which one I would put for sure. Azul, very simplistic. You're just laying square tiles down. You draft them actually.
Mm-hmm.
The toughest part about this game is there's these factories, or what they call them, that there's 4 tiles on,
Mm-hmm.
and you take all of whatever color of tile off, and then anything you don't take falls into the middle, and you keep doing that, and then somebody can choose to take all that color from the middle. So you're taking all of one whatever type of tile you're doing, and then when you take it, you have to place it in the left part of your board. And once you fill up that whole aisle, then during the building phase, then you put that in the deal.
Over, yeah.
So it's a very simple game, like super simple as far as you just taking something, placing it, taking something, placing it. But you really have to think ahead to knowing how you're going to maximize your points, because as soon as you place that, the more adjacent there is to it, the more
Mm-hmm.
points there are. There's in-game scoring. If you have all of a whole
there was
a whole column filled, you get bonus points. Or if you have all 5 spots filled with that one color, you get points. It's
Didn't you shit the bed the first time we played this game?
Yeah, I finally won. I'd never won this game. I probably played it 10 or 11 times.
Really?
I never won it, and I finally won when I played a month or so ago.
Gotcha.
It's super simple, super fast, especially once everybody knows how to play it.
Do you think it was overhyped? I think it was definitely overhyped. It's not a bad game by any means.
When I sit and I think about how people flip their shit over code names, stuff like that, I don't think it was overhyped, because people love the hell out of those games.
That's
like
true.
the love letters and the code names and
Yeah.
stuff. And
I mean,
this was
component
different.
quality, it's good. It was different.
I think I'm going to end up liking the stained glass better.
If it's
And
deeper,
it's
because
gonna
I thought
make-
Azul.
It is deeper. It is
okay,
deeper.
I felt Azul was pretty simple, at least for me. Maybe I'm just super smart. I don't know.
Well, and I think a
Just
lot
sit
of
here
it,
and
we were all playing it for the first time
Yeah,
when we played it.
and we did the one where
Cat.
it's like the tile already had the grid on it, and you flip it over
Right.
to the side, then it's blank.
Right.
Which I like that part better.
So we'll have to just see how it plays out, but I think the Azul was the initial thing, and I think they ramped it up just a little bit off of that to make the stained glass. So
Okay.
it's a little more gamery.
Good.
So we'll just kind of see which one falls in and stuff, but I played this probably more than any other game over this last year.
Okay. Well, sweet. I'm surprised it's at 13 though.
It's because I played it so much.
Yeah.
It gets a ton of play. Like every place I go, it's hitting the table and going.
Gotcha. So, my number 12 is, in my opinion, the best game with the trader mechanic. Even though I just Battlestar Galactica, I think the Battlestar Galactica does the trader mechanic better. but the game overall of this one is better, and that's Dead of Winter.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Dead of Winter rose 12 spaces. It was actually at 24. And I think The Long Night is a fantastic expansion. Like, if you're looking to buy one, buy The Long Night, because it's a standalone expansion. So you can play it just as that. So Dead of Winter, by the way, Gen 7 sucks ass. Do not waste your money. God damn, that game is $100.
I know. That's what
Fuck
we were,
them.
We were talking about that. Like, what made it worth the $100?
Nothing.
In that box.
There is nothing in that box that requires it to be $100. There are dice. There are envelopes. There's cardboard. And there's, I guess they're trying to pay the writers for their generic ass story. God, anyway.
Look at the component picture, the layout, like the back of the box picture that you see. It's like,
there's nothing in there.
What makes this expensive?
Yeah, nothing. So anyway, Dead of Winter is a cooperative survival game in a zombie apocalypse where you are in a colony trying to complete crisis cards. So each round there's a new crisis where it's like, crap, we need food, or we need tools, or we need something. And every time people are potentially putting in cards that will help you meet your criterion. If you meet it, morale goes up. Yay. If you don't, it goes down. If your morale goes all the way down, you lose. The game is definitely, obviously, more about each other than zombies. Zombies are kind of there, and it's thematic because if you're dealing with them, then great. Like, they're nothing. But if you kind of ignore them, then they can ramp up and become a problem. Because if you leave them there, then you can create in a location, you can create a bunch of noise, and if it overruns, then your character dies. But everyone gets a secret objective that will tell them if they're the traitor or not. There's only ever one traitor, potentially. So you never know if someone is a traitor, because everyone's secret objective makes them do traitorish
Makes them
things.
selfish.
Yeah, selfish or not even really like that, but it's like, hey, I just need to have a bunch of books. So you don't win if let's say you beat the game, the main objective. You personally don't win if you didn't complete your secret objective. Right. So if you're trying to win, some people are just like, yeah, I didn't personally win, but we all won. It's like, nah, well, I guess. But if everyone's trying to do their secret objective, then it's like, hey, I'm going to go to the library. Why? We need food. Yeah, well, there's some food in the library. So I really like that. But obviously what makes Dead of Winter great is the crossroads mechanic, which we've talked about multiple times. And in this game you have a deck of cards that at the beginning of your turn, the person to your left draws it, and it has a trigger. And they keep it secret, and then you do your turn as normal, and then if you do something, if you do the trigger, then they're like, hold on, this happens right now. What I love about this is it's not an event that happens all the time. I think was that you that wanted to pop off the crossroads as much as possible?
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah.
I like it in spurts, so I really like it. I don't like it to happen all the time, but I like it. It just makes those moments when they do, like, more meaningful and more, ooh, what's happening? So, but there's a huge deck. The Long Night adds even more. So, and then they also added adult-themed ones, which makes this game even more better for me.
They had adult-themed ones in the base one,
Did
too.
they?
They took
in
a little envelope, and you could take them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this one did too. So it was like a little box that it was like, hey, if you are playing with kids, don't add these.
Right.
I don't know why you'd play this with kids anyway. But, so that's what makes it really interesting, the crossroads mechanic. Gen 7 tried to do the same thing, and boy oh boy were the crossroads not as fun, not as interesting, not as game breaking. It was I didn't pay $100 for it, thank God. I paid $80, and I thought that was a stretch, and I looked up on their store, and I'm like, this is $100? Fuck that. Yeah. Like, dear God. Then they just released an expansion.
Really?
Or they're going to. I'm like, nope, you cannot, nope, this game is awful.
The expansion is for free.
Nope, it's also, I think it's like $50.
Jesus.
So, yeah, anyway, if you're wanting a Crossroads game, and first of all, that's the other shitty thing, is they kept teasing a new Crossroads mechanic, and this is what they came out with. Can't even think of the company right now.
Plaid Hat.
Plaid Hat, yep. Yeah. So Plaid Hat, what the hell is wrong with you?
I don't know, they've changed a lot, because I play tested for them for a long time, for several years.
Because they did for Summoner Wars, right?
Yeah, and then for, I started my Mystics a little bit, and
See, Mice and Mystics is great. What was the other one? Stuffed Fables is great. They just released Cosmonauts, which is also kind of pricey, but at least it's not $100.
The company has changed since they became part of
Asmodee.
Because they got bought by Z-Man, and then Z-Man got bought by Asmodee, so now they're not, they're just different.
Yeah.
You know, like they used to be proud to be the little company doing stuff, and now it's just different. It's just different. Like,
yeah, that sucks too, because they also did, Guardians was the other one, was which, I mean, Guardians, boo, that name's kind of lame, and then, like, and actually a guy commented on that run through, he's like, because I think it feels like Overwatch, which I love it. He's like, I think that's what holds it back. And then he's like, would you buy this game if you saw it on a shelf? And I'm like, actually, no. That's a good point. I would not have bought Guardians had I not already played it at Gen Con. But they are supporting it. Anyway, Dead of Winter, number 12, fantastic. Rose up. The Long Night, sorry, there is one other thing. They added modules to the Long Night. So, like, they had, like, a lab that you had that made the zombies probably more terrifying, because they're like, they have special abilities. They have bandit hideout, which now bandits are actually coming and attacking. So yeah, I really like the also mechanic where you control multiple people who all have their special abilities, and that gives you more dice and more stuff to do. But that means more mouths to feed, and if you find one, you get one new survivor, but you get a helpless survivor, and you hate them because they do nothing. And I'd throw them out into the fucking cold and be like, just die out there. Like, you provide nothing here. Anyway, that's Dead of Winter, number 12.
Alright, my number 12 was number 5 last year.
Damn, do you even have any of the same games in your top 10?
A lot of change.
I mean, I have no...
This one is... Well, I said it earlier. We had a discussion about this game. It is my wife's favorite game of all time.
Oh, Seven Wonders.
Seven Wonders. And it just fell. It just fell because
45.
You know, we played it a ton. Once we play Armada, it might just jump right back up. You know.
I don't think so.
It's one of those things. It's not going to fall much for like this is
Yeah.
kind of its area. It's going to be right around 10. You know.
I can imagine it would probably stay around the same. Armada was neat, not like, oh my god, this is so awesome.
It's really cool because I mean I play tested for the app that's out now for it too, and I've played so many games on the app. But what's cool about the app is you can literally play a game of Seven Wonders in 5 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, because it's just fast. The AI is super fast. You just pick your card, pick your card, pick your card,
Gotcha.
pick your card. It does all the math itself,
Neat.
and then you're done. I mean,
Wow.
it's like literally 5 minutes a game. You know,
Huh.
and it's and they have all the expansions. Not all of the expansions. They're working on more expansions.
Okay.
But anyway, Seven Wonders.
I love the cities expansion. Leaders is okay.
Yeah, I liked all of them.
I mean, they're all good, but like if you were to play, like bring it out and play, we ended up playing with all of them except Babel. I think Babel's probably the weakest one, just because it's kind of a nuisance.
Well, we did parts of the Babel. Like,
Okay.
We actually used the tower.
Okay.
We didn't use some of the other
Yeah, we didn't use
modules.
the tower.
But we used the tower just because then you have to kind of...
You have to build it.
Um,
Armada is neat. Armada adds a separate sideboard that has the 4 different colors from red, blue, green, and yellow. And all the boards are a little bit different. And you just advance those, and then once you advance them, which you spend resources on, that's how you go to the next level, and you get bonuses from that. It was neat, because then if you play with the Armada expansion, then now there's land war and water and naval war. So 2 opportunities which kind of sucks, because if you're not playing with Armada and you get the peace token, remember that you opt out, it doesn't protect you from naval. So I was like, well, that's kind of lame. Like, why wouldn't you just be ignored the entire time? But then they have island cards that if you go, then you can grab them, and those will give you resources or new stuff. So it was neat. Like, I would definitely play with it again. I'd probably play with that over the Babel.
I almost wondered, and you would know since you've played it, I really haven't looked into it, did it make it at all where you could trade with people further away from you?
No.
Okay.
No.
See, I almost wondered if they would try that because I know that's a complaint with
Right.
like what you were saying
Yeah.
about not being interactive.
That's interesting.
That would be cool if they can make it where you get one extra spot.
Yeah,
or
you can go
depending on
like-
how far your boat is on the
Mhm.
line. If you could trade.
That would be
people.
cool. There was a lot of weird interactions, like because each row, like the red one was obviously power,
Mhm.
yellow was goods, and then green was exploration, which were the
Right.
islands. So it was neat. Like it definitely did. If you like Seven Wonders,
Mhm.
like I don't think it's a must.
Yeah.
That's pretty much where I'm gonna go.
Well,
with that.
it will be. Amy wants it.
Yeah, for
So-
sure.
So we'll, but yeah, 7-1. I mean, I can't think of another game that plays that high of a count that goes that fast either.
That's
like
true.
We talked about on the previous
Mhm.
top 10. Anyway, 7 Wonders. It's always going to be right around here. So it's an evergreen.
Neat. And number 11, the honorable mention for the top 10, the one that just, and unfortunately, based off of the latest, I mean, the Kickstarter expansion might knock this up, but the one that just came out is not doing really any favors, which is Aeon's End. So Aeon's End, as Brad talked about, was this in this segment or was it in the last one?
It's the last one.
In the last segment.
It was number 21.
Okay. So I like it 10 more than you do. Aeon's End is my favorite deck building game. Like I said, they just found a way to make this game balanced. Like even if you feel like, oh my god, there's nothing we can do against this nameless, there is, and it always comes down to the wire. And I love the card play. I love the deck building aspect of it because everything you buy is great. Like all the nameless, every single one of them are absolutely unique. Your powers are unique, but you actually have to work for your powers. Right. You have to charge them up, and then you can do them. And sometimes that's the route you want to go. It's like, okay, I only have 2 Aether. Okay, I guess I'll get a charge or something like that. Like you have to work together. That initiative deck is awesome. It's just so good. Aeon's End Legacy, unfortunately, is not amazing. Like like what you said, it's just an ends to a mean just to get more content. Like that's really all I wanted for at this point. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, the nameless are cool and they're unique, which is good. It's just that legacy aspect is just, it was so unnecessary. Like here, because the thing was, hey, I get to build a breach mage and it'll be mine. And it's kind of fucking lame.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather play one of the already built ones than the one I made, which is sad. So I don't feel like it's me. I'm just like, okay. Like my character I made is all about like just dishing out power. Right. Whereas my friend, we're playing with 3 players. My friend's is he does a lot of breach focusing, so he can focus everyone's breaches and get them unlocked quicker. And then now every time he focuses or unlocks a breach, he deals 3 damage. So, which is good. Kat is all about just healing Gravehold. When she does her ability, she heals Gravehold for 7. So it's just, and then like I said, I'm just all about, I can stack spells on my level 1 breach, and then if I spend mine, I can pop off all spells that I have and deal 1 extra damage. So whenever I finally charge that up, then there are times where I'm dealing 20 damage. So it's really, but it's like, that's okay, neat, I guess. So, like I said, it's at 11, it's probably going to stay there, but I'm very excited for the new age.
Yeah. You need to look at that new little box expansion.
Yeah, I need to.
Wild or something like that.
Okay.
I'll when we go eat.
When we go eat, yeah. Okay. Neat. So, that's it for this segment.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Mine.
No, no one cares about your honorable mention. That's almost it.
You like this game I'm going to talk about.
Okay, then we'll talk about it. What's your number 11?
My number 11 was number 10.
Okay.
Just fell 1 spot, so it's right there, and it is Smash Up.
Okay.
It just like, was that in this 10?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
So I won't talk about it a
18.
whole lot. You know, it's same reason he said we have everything for it, and then some. It's like.
Have you played with the sheep? Have you played with the sheep?
I have not yet.
I have not.
I want to play with the zombie sheep.
Oh my god!
just because. I've tried like when a new set comes out and I try it. I always do zombie and one of them. Zombie. And
oh really?
Because zombies are my favorite one, and
Yeah, I don't let people pick.
No, I know. I mean, we.
I mean, I don't care
drafted
that
early.
much. But what's really cool about this app, by the way,
I have that app.
it's called the
now,
randomizer.
Yeah.
So you do number of players. By the way, this game plays best with 3.
Oh yeah. I
2
would
is
agree.
2 is like not awful.
2's not bad, but 4 just gets kind of rough.
Yeah. You just never. It goes by too quick.
Yeah.
I think 3 is like there's enough options.
Well, we played it before where we ramped up the points.
I guess you
We
could easily
set
do
20
that.
points.
So you do the randomizers. Well, first you do, you can do custom cards and it filters your expansion. So I took out the Munchkin. God, that one was awful. But yeah, so then you just randomize it, and then great. It also randomizes the bases, but that takes way too long to find them. But like, hey, this time you're player 1, I'm doing your time travelers and super spies, Cat is vampires and teddy bears, and I'm werewolves and princesses. What?
Werewolf princess.
That'd be so weird. But yeah. Anyway, so
yeah, but yeah, it's a super game, unlimited. I mean, I'd hate to do the math and just see what the combinations are, and stuff.
I'm pretty sure how you faction if you do 1 times 2 times 3 is like how you figure out the combinations.
I don't know.
But I don't know.
It's stupid. I mean, there's what, probably 40. There's in the 60s now. Factions, I think,
Are there
isn't
60
there?
factions?
I think so.
You might be right.
It's just ridiculous how many stuff there is, and it's just a great game. It's always going to be up here just because it's such a simple game, and it's it's about time for them to put out. This company, with the people with this game, the thing that they've done is they've listened to their fans. They've had 2 of the deals have been voted on by the people.
What were we thinking? Was that theirs?
What were you thinking?
Yeah, we got they did a vote.
Something out of it. But where they had like a tournament.
Yep.
Like people's votes to get it narrowed down to the deal. I think that was the one that actually came with the Sharks.
Was that the one, or that was the Vikings one? And the Vikings are samurai.
But anyway, it's like, and then they had you took part in the survey and you get a sheep faction for free. It's like, it's like they really.
AEG is doing it right, so especially with this game.
Yep. But anyway, Smash Up. I sadly fell out of my top 10, but it's restricted.
Yeah, it's same, but it's right there. Now that's it.
Yes.
For this segment, we are now on to the top 10 games of all time. This is where the epitome of gaming is. They're the best in the world. So it depends on what yours are.
Your vessel.
Your guys' games suck, even though I share a lot of my taste with you guys.
I don't know if I'll.
So anyway, that's it. Just stick around for the top 10. Otherwise, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this, and if you like this video, then click the subscribe button below to enjoy any video that I put out. And right next to that subscribe button is a little bell. Click that so you get notified of whenever I actually upload these videos. If you want to support the channel, you can definitely visit my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.